Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is 2 Up and 2 Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
Today we have the season 6 episode, the Fusilli Jerry. And to start things off, let's go to you, Chris. What's your first up?
Fusilli Jerry, 28 million people watched this season 6 episode. Marjorie Gross, amongst others, wrote this one. I'm probably stealing Tony's here. He's one of his favorites. It's Frank Costanza. He brought it. He brought it in this episode. I loved his line, getting an eye job like some Manhattanite. I mean, I get it. The outer boroughs in Manhattan, pure conflict there a lot. And, stop short. That's my move. Frank was great. And then obviously, him and Kramer getting into it with the bro in the man's ear. Again, season 6, Frank Costanza, much needed. Him and Estelle are much needed in these years, and he definitely delivered on this one.
Right, great Estelle and Frank in the kitchen when he says that line about getting an eye job. So, great up there. Tony, over to you. What's your first up?
Yeah, Frank does deliver. I agree. And you know who else delivers is Estelle. That'll be my first up. Specifically to the first conversation with George and her in Monks. I'm out there now. You can't be out there. If you're out there, not enough voltage in the universe to shock me back. The whole thing, George was an all-time line to Estelle. Take TV out of this equation. We got nothing. We need to be sitting in front of TV. We've all been there. That's a classic. I think Estelle delivers just as much as Frank in this episode. Obviously, she just that opening scene with her and George for me kind of sets the tone of this episode. It's an Estelle and Frank episode for sure. And, George is kind of, just can't believe that she's out there. Then Kramer comes in, oh, you're out there now, slips it in there with her. Love that scene. Love Estelle. That's my up.
Yeah, that is all great points there. So, definitely an up for Estelle. Now, Chris, over to you. What's your second up?
Yeah, I love that scene, and it extends a little bit when Kramer's Estelle's telling Kramer about the doctor, and Kramer mentions something about, he's good. He worked at a Guadalupe kid or something. Funny. But I'm going to stick with Kramer here. The scene where he comes back into Jerry's apartment when his plates get mixed up, and they're discussing that he got ass man, and they're discussing, who could it be? It's funny that George mentions, I think, Will Chamberlain, second time that get mentioned in Seinfeld lore. And Kramer says proctologist, and Jerry's like, what? And then just Kramer's line, have you ever met a proctologist? I love the way he delivers that line. And then obviously he goes into the whole thing, you meet a proctologist at a party, do not walk away. Only from Kramer is that funny and makes sense. So, that's my second one up.
Yeah, great scene there. So I agree with that one. Tony, what do you have for your second up here?
I wrote that exact line down. I love Kramer's delivering that line. I love Kramer saying that line. That line sticks with me forever. My second up, we got to go there. One of the best, whatever it is, 60 seconds of television. George laying in bed with the girl. She's just, she's sitting there. She just can't believe what just happened. George is smiling. She's like, that was amazing, all that stuff. And then she finds the crib notes on George's head. It's crib notes. You got crib notes. George like, not the essay. Oh, just unbelievable George in bed. I think it's the dinosaur sheets at this point. Just classic George, cheating any way he can. And he even has cheating on, make sure he gets the move right in bed, with crib notes on his hand, does a little face, and that's when she finds it. Love that scene. You can watch that scene on repeat over and over again. That's my second up, the crib notes in bed.
All right, good one. And now we're going to do downs. So, Chris, what's your first down here?
Man, you're not going to like my down then. I didn't like that scene. It just, George yelling, maybe that's what got me. And I think this is where we're seeing a little bit of that I didn't like that SAT line. It's not the SAT. And again, watching it live, maybe I wouldn't recognize it as much, but as an analyst now, thinking about what he becomes, it's ingrained in my head that it's teetering towards that 7, 8, 9 George. So my down was him yelling about the SATs.
All right, there. And Tony, your first down. What do you got here?
Yeah, I mean, my first down is kind of a broad and big one, and it's a lot of the show. So I guess when we get to grades, maybe it'll sway a little bit. But I don't really love the whole theme of the whole thing. The move, Putty stealing the move. Elaine wants to move back. First of all, we all know Elaine didn't have orgasms with Jerry. So where's this great move Jerry was using on Elaine? That always kind of bothered me a little bit. Elaine's worried. Jerry yells at Putty, "You're stealing my move." I know it's a whole kind of twist on probably stealing jokes. Use it, out of town, not in the city. It's just a premise that kind of got beat down a little too much, and it tried to carry the show. And to me, it just kind of falls flat. The swirl, the pinch, Jerry telling George to move, and I don't know. It seemed a little. I don't know the right word, but Jerry maybe patted himself on the back a little too much here, something like this. I don't know. It was an odd plot for a show. We all love when menage a trois is fine, contest great. I'm all for it, but this one just falls a little flat. I think they kind of beat it down with a drum. I think Jerry trying to Elaine. Give Elaine credit in bed with the estimate and everything else. That could be an up. We can go that way if we wanted to, but I'm sticking with downs here. And, that's my down, really just the move and just how Jerry kind of plays it out and Elaine loves it and all that kind of stuff. A lot of holes I could poke in it. And also just not a great premise. And it kind of falls flat after a couple of times. They really beat that horse dead.
All right. Yeah. Good points there. Chris, over to you. What do you got for your down?
Yeah, you took a lot of downs on that one. But yeah, mine was similar, weaved in there, but it was specifically Elaine. Yeah, Elaine never even had an orgasm, so what does she care about the move for? But I won't take it. I'll try to think of something else on the fly here. It's weird. Like this episode doesn't have that many downs per se, but I think what's just missing is flow. You could tell. You could kind of tell Larry David really didn't have his fingerprints on this one. It was a group of writers, so there was probably an idea here with the Ass Man, idea here with the other one, the Fusilli thing. Like, it was kind of just all over the place, right? I mean, is the show more focused on the move, or is it more focused on the Ass Man Fusilli stuff? None of them really flowed together. Like, I know that was the goal, kind of in these Ackerman years, is to kind of tie all the stories together, if you will. And it didn't really happen here. So for me, it was just kind of a disjointed flow. Solid episode. I'm not turning it off. But, as far as what we're accustomed to, a little bit of a down.
Tony, what do you got for your last your last down here?
Yeah, 100% agree with O'Hara on this one. I didn't write down a lot of downs. I wrote 3 downs, but that doesn't mean it's an A+ episode, right? So the episode just is missing something. I think it's disjointed is a good way to describe it. My second down, sort of a throwaway down, but I want to get it in there because it always bothers me. Jerry leaves Putty's garage after arguing with him and starts driving, and then he hits a bump, and he's I don't know why I hate it, but I do. Just Jerry driving, hitting the steering wheel, then he hits a bump, and he gets all mad. I don't know if it's combined bad acting. Just they had to have that scene in there to show that he got his car wrecked, but I don't know what it is. It's one of those things, and we've talked to writers of the show, and they talk about how, you just it has to be funny. You don't just put something in to move the plot along or whatever it may be. That was just to move the plot along. It was just a scene to make sure that Jerry's car got bashed up so he can get a bad estimate, so then Elaine can get an estimate. That was the whole reason, right? And then all that, just not funny. Nothing about it was funny, and it showed it just a bad one-off scene, and it falls flat like a lot of this episode sort of does. But that's my down. That Jerry driving the car, hitting the bump, never liked it, never will. That's my down.
All right, there's the ups and the downs. So let's go to grades now. Chris, over to you. What's your grade for the Fusilli Jerry?
It's funny. I have Jerry tapping the steering wheel as an up for me. For some reason, I don't know. I get what you're saying now, but just him like doing lapping around for some reason, I laugh. It's so stupid. But anyway, I digress. This is a tough one. I'm kind of tinkering. I have one grade here, but the more we're talking through this, I don't think it deserves it. I'm gonna go a solid C plus, a high C plus. I had B minus, but the more we're talking about it, you know, Frank and Estelle were great on their limited scope. George, okay, but him trying to steal the move. Jerry, Elaine was kind of sexy a little bit. Putty's first episode, I'll give that a nod. It's Kramer. They're all okay. No one's bursting through the seams here. Like, wow, do you remember him in that episode? Like, not happening. So, B minus was right there, but the more we talk, I think a high C plus is fair.
I think Kramer. It's a great Kramer episode. So, I thought you would have gone a little bit higher with your grades, but all right, C plus is what you gave it. Tony, your final grade here.
Yeah, we're thinking exactly alike. Except I'm going to give it the B minus. I am on a low B minus. I think I'm giving more credit to the crib note scene. I'm probably giving Frank and Estelle a little more than you gave. I love Million to One Shot Doc. That line thrown out there a couple of times. To your point, you're up with Kramer and ever sees a proctologist, sit with him at a party. Frank Costanza worked out with a dumbbell. I feel vigorous. The Manhattanite line. Just a lot there that we didn't even really touch on the ass man stuff with Kramer driving with hey, ass man. It's got enough. You're not turning it off. I know you're C plus. You're probably not turning it off either. It's an average. It's basically an average episode, a little above average, right? Season 6. But I think it's enough there. I think the Fusilli Jerry carries a lot of clout with the memes and the nostalgia aspect of it. It's Fusilli Jerry. I'm just going to throw it a bone and give it a B minus. I think I was in a good mood again when I wrote this down because I actually have B written down with a slash, thinking about a B. Now that we're talking through it, though, there's no way it's a B. I'm thinking more B minus, C plus.
He killed me last week for talking about memes, and now he loved it again. Maybe I'm in a better mood. I don't know. You watch these things. I watch it tomorrow. I give it a C minus. I don't know. I'm going B minus on Fusilli Jerry. I think it's fair enough. You're talking low C minus. I'm sorry, B minus, low B minus. N80, right? You got that extra credit question right. They bump you to an 80. I don't know. B minus.
All right. Well, there you guys go. I mean, to me, I would have had a little bit higher. I'm not going A, but I thought you guys could have gone up a little bit more with your grades. But your guys, the show, you're the analyst, so we'll stick with what you got. So I thank you guys again for another episode of 2 Up and 2 Down, and we'll see you on the next one.